Well, I'm joined now by Lisa Bloom, who's the lawyer representing 5 of Jeffrey Epstein's alleged victims. Good to talk to you, Lisa Bloom. Well, your reaction, I mean, I know you've seen it an awful lot, but give us your reaction to what the president said.
It's absolutely disgusting. Warm words for an accused sexual predator who just happens to be another one of his rich friends and neighbors. We never have from President Trump any warm words for the victims, even in this case, child victims who are accusing her of very serious misconduct. And this comes at a time when surely Ghislaine Maxwell's attorneys are negotiating with prosecutors, perhaps a cooperation agreement against other powerful people. Donald Trump himself has been accused by many, many women of sexual misconduct. So is this the first step down the road toward a Trump pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell? Nothing would surprise me. Nothing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you think she will do? It's called a plea bargain, isn't it? I mean, the charges she faces, if convicted, carry some substantial sentences. How would a plea bargain work then? She tells everything she knows in exchange for a shorter sentence.
Yes, she's looking at 35 years, and because she's 58 years old, this could be the rest of her life in prison. And so I'm sure that her attorneys are coming up with anything they can to try to spare her that fate. But Donald Trump has pardoned and commuted the sentences of his friends, like Roger Stone recently, and he starts by sending out these signals. So I'm just absolutely appalled that he made that comment.
And what did the women you represent make of those comments?
Also disgusted, appalled. There aren't strong enough words for it. I mean, you can count on Donald Trump to always take the side of an accused predator, whether it's Roger Ailes, Bill O'Reilly, or now Ghislaine Maxwell, over and over again. Never in history has he taken the side of a woman making accusations.
And fundamentally, what do the women you represent actually want? They really want answers, don't they? They want explanations. It's not particularly about the money. It is, of course, about justice.
Well, that's right. On the criminal side, they want justice against Ghislaine Maxwell. I represent 6 accusers of Jeffrey Epstein, one of whom has sexual misconduct claims against Ghislaine Maxwell herself. And she's accused of being ruthless and brutal and bringing so many girls and women to Jeffrey Epstein over the years for him to abuse. So they want justice. They want her to serve a significant amount of prison time. And on the civil side, I'm representing them to get full and fair compensation from the Epstein estate for the lifelong damage that his actions have caused. Any sexual abuse victim will tell you that the damage doesn't just last for a year or two. It takes many, many years to undo. And that's what they're still struggling with today.
Yeah, and I've just got to say again, Ghislaine Maxwell, of course, denies all the charges. But in terms of their search for answers, you want to hear from a lot of people who knew Jeffrey Epstein well. And we have the president there saying, well, we know it already, that he did. He knew Jeffrey Epstein. He knew Ghislaine Maxwell quite well. I mean, would you like to hear a statement from the president on what he knows about Jeffrey Epstein?
Well, I certainly would. I think everyone who has information about these investigations should come forward. You're right. Donald Trump said in an interview in the early 2000s that Epstein was a friend of his, that Epstein liked women and he liked them young. So that shows a certain level of knowledge. Now he's saying that he knew Ghislaine Maxwell fairly well because she was a neighbor, and there's lots of pictures of them together. So what did he know, and when did he know it? If he had any ethics, he would be cooperating with investigators. But despite calling himself the law and order president, that never applies to legal consequences for his friends. And
also along the lines of people who knew Jeffrey Epstein, again, self-admitted, the Duke of York, Prince Andrew. Just have you heard any more about what he's prepared to do to talk to the authorities in the United States?
Well, I understand that his attorneys have said he will give a written statement, answer written questions. That's not the way investigations work. There's no investigator that would ever want to do an investigation that way. You have to ask people questions live, look at their demeanor, follow up. So that's what the prosecutors in New York want from Prince Andrew. He said he would cooperate, and he still has failed to do that.
And finally, Lisa Bloom, we'd be very interested to get the timetable on the civil actions you talk about. We kind of know where we are on the criminal charges against Ghislaine Maxwell, but what's happening in those courts and with that process?
So we have spent many months hammering out the victim compensation fund, which is supposed to be a faster, streamlined system so that the victims can present their claims to an administrator who will make a decision instead of going through years of litigation. I'm pleased to say that we have worked out terms which I think are very favorable for our clients. I would not have agreed to it otherwise. They're waiving statute of limitations defenses, for example, which means those time deadlines to file cases. They're putting that aside so that victims can come forward no matter when they were allegedly abused by Epstein. And we are now pressing forward. We're putting together the witness statements, the evidence. We will be presenting them to the administrators. And I am hoping that we can get justice sooner rather than later. If not, if we can't work that out with the estate, then we will litigate those claims against the estate.
OK, Lisa Bloom, good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.